today on Facebook to talk a little bit about how to be a business exhibitionist. And I'm going to give everybody a little chance to get in on this live Facebook feed. I appreciate any comments, suggestions. Leave your questions in the comment section below, and I'll be tuning into Facebook here to see who's coming in on Facebook. And I see I am live now in Facebook. So I want to talk a little bit about how to be a business exhibitionist. This is a little challenge that my coach gave me today. So learning how to use this Facebook Live and Be Live TV. Anyway, the Webster's Dictionary defines an exhibitionist as a tendency to display one's abilities or behave in a certain way as to attraction, attention, okay, to yourself. So what I want to talk about is how to be a business exhibitionist and to develop more qualified prospects at your next trade show event. So let me tell you a little story. Several years ago, while I was attending a trade show, I watched as two women went through the trade show booth, handing out stuff and shirts and stuff in their bags and handing them out along the lines of people. I could not believe they handed all these shirts out and nothing happened. Stood there in amazement. They had no sales pitch, no smile, and thousands of t-shirts they passed out saying, "There you go, see ya." Never did one recipient hear a sales pitch. They never stepped foot in the booth. Never caught a business card, never got a lead. The shirts just flew out and they were depleted. And I heard one of the young women say, "Wow, that was a great show. We gave out over 1,000 shirts." I stood there in amazement. I said, "Did I miss something? What was the purpose of the shirt? Was the recipient the buyer, the decision maker? Do they even sell shirts? What products did they have to use in the past? Or were they there just shopping for their kids or grandkids?" Don't laugh. I've seen people go shop at trade shows, come back with full bags of products and their grandkids and give it to the grandkids, and the son goes, "I can't get it. I can't." They give away out free stuff and they never captured not one lead at that trade show, but they gave out 1,000 t-shirts. So tell me a little bit about what you think and how you feel if you were to go to a trade show and not see a return on your investment. If you gave out 1,000 shirts, please leave your comments. I'm going to give you a little time just to chime in and answer a question. Well, I'm not seeing any comments, so we'll move on then. If you're planning a show, 65% of visitors do not have a clear strategy of their events. They walk in blindly thinking their goal is just to increase sales or collect as many leads and business cards as they can. Unfortunately, those two ladies handing out those shirts, they didn't even do that. They didn't even collect the lead. They just passed out the owner and company's marketing pieces and gave them away without collecting anything. As you prepare for your next trade show exhibit, here are some questions you'll need to ask yourself. What is the purpose of the show? What is your objective by attending that trade show? What do you hope to accomplish with the promotional gifts or swag you've selected? How many people will be attending that trade show? Are they all your clients or buyers? And the big question we want to ask ourselves every single time, what has been the past return on your investment for that trade show event? How much money have you spent? How many leads did you get? Will you have a promotional theme for your trade show? Have you ever thought about that? That's part of the planning. Planning for that trade show and looking at what you need for that trade show to attract people to your booth, to drive traffic to it. I gave some suggestions the other day. I did a little video blog on how to use promotional products or swag or promotional swag in your business to drive traffic to your trade show booth. And one of the things I suggested was using a Frisbee such as this. It's probably backwards, but putting a booth number on it and mailing it as a direct mail piece was one of the items I suggested. But you could do as simple as doing a compressed t-shirt and putting a booth number on it and sending it out and say, come by our booth and let's have a little chat. Spend 30 minutes and you'll get a free gift. So those are just a couple of ideas that I had suggested the other day in my video blog. But you could even use a jungle theme, like a little tiger, suggesting you have the whole booth fixed up with a jungle theme out there. It's a jungle out there. And you could have pre-show involved, do a 3-part mailer out to your clients, your prospects, and send out a list to them and do a whole thing. You could mail something out to them. It could be a mailable piece. It could be a swag piece. You do direct mail. It could be a postcard and shrink wrap a magnet to it in shape of a tiger or giraffe. But this is just a little piece that you could use as a direct mail piece too. You could mail this out and put the booth number on it right there on the front of the shirt. But the theme is appropriate. The appropriate theme needs to be correctly appropriated with the branding or swag products that you're putting out there. So you wouldn't want to do a theme and do tech if you're doing a jungle theme. And you might want to decorate your booth up with foliage and have animals in it and really get it out. Have somebody come dressed as a tiger or somebody dressed as a elephant or something of that nature and have them give out little things at the booth. Another thing I heard of today was scratch-offs for trade shows. Doing scratch-off coupons where they scratch off and they come back to your booth, and that way it gets them for a winner. To the trade show booth. So these are just some ways to drive traffic to that trade show before you ever go to the trade show. Another way of driving traffic, if you're doing a trade show out of town, you might want to go to, before you ever go to the trade show, you might want to do an email campaign if your customers are in that state, or you might want to start doing some type of Facebook Live and letting them know you're going to be at that event. Social media, getting out on the channels, letting them know that you're going to be at that trade show and let them know your booth number. And we'll let them know what row you're on and tell them that you're going to do a prize giveaway and have a drawing. So if they come by your booth, they put their name in for a drawing. And you might give away a Coleman cooler. You might give away a nice tech gift. That's just ways of driving traffic to your trade show booth. There's a numerous amount of ways. I could go on and on about how to drive traffic to your booth. I'm going to go on down and talk a little bit about how do you divide and conquer the trade show. And what is that, you say? Divide and conquer. Well, trade shows are more than just building a booth and waiting for people to come to you. There's a certain set of skills that's unique to the area of marketing. Yes, 74% of exhibitors don't conduct training events. They train early and often is what you need to do. You need to set up your booth with graphics, banners, have all that set up. You need to have your trade show booth set up with all your graphics so everything in your branding stays cohesive with what you're doing at that trade show, and it matches your branding from the swag to the booth to the banners. And another thing too is training your employees. You don't train the employees or your salespeople, the staff that's working in that booth, or if you underestimated how many people is going to come by that trade show booth, you might be understaffed and be overwhelmed. Or the other thing is, you might have your table out front, your display table, and you block everybody from coming into your booth. My suggestion is to put the booth behind you and have an open area where they can walk in, maybe have a table situated with a nice captain's chairs that they could sit down and you could sit down and have a conversation. But staffing is a big thing. You need to have enough staff in that booth to make sure that your people are there. So pre-planning is another part of that. Divide and conquer, planning, trade show planning, training. That's all a part of asking the right questions to that qualified, because you just prospect. You just have a few seconds to talk to that prospect to learn who they are. And I'm going to stop here for a minute and just see if there's any comments, any questions. Anybody have any comments or anything? Well, my other tip is trade show tip number 3. How do you overcome anxiety with attendees? Fear is the enemy with attendees. Here are some of the ways to conquer the attendees' fear. Have a friendly approach. Step outside that booth, extend your hand, and shake their hand. Look them straight in the eye and say, hello, how you doing? Thank you for coming by my booth. Like to talk with you just a few seconds to see what your needs are, how we can help you with your needs. Make the booth friendly. Make it so they are approachable. I like, when going to a trade show, to have branded apparel on with having at least a name tag or have the name embroidered on and have your company logo on the other side so they know who you are. They know you're with that booth. Another thing you can do to make it friendly is doing some type of game in the booth. Have the Wheel of Fortune game, have the putting game. The other game is the toss game. That gets people working with you, and you get some talking. You get to be more friendly with them. It just opens the door for you. And then they win a gift. So that's something you can do to help get that past that fear of the attendee coming in your booth. And it can help you also too. If you're new to being a salesperson, you can overcome that fear. So golf, putting, Wheel of Fortune, we can customize all these games for you too. They even have the trivia game. So you might even want to hire a celebrity to come to your booth and sign autographs and give away footballs. If it's football season and you're doing a football thing, you might even want to get a celebrity to come and sign footballs and get branded footballs with your company name on it and give those away. Another thing too is if it's maybe a kids trade show camp or a camp that you're doing, or that type of trade show where kids are coming by, you might even want to hire one of the magicians to do some kind of magic acts, or somebody to do balloons in different shapes. So those are just some different ideas for you on trade shows that I want to suggest to you. And my final thing I want to talk about is follow-up. Follow-up is my thing. People just don't follow up. They go to a trade show, they collect all the leads and they give all the giveaways, like those two ladies standing at the booth. They gave all those t-shirts out, and then they didn't do any follow-up. They had no leads. I like capturing leads. There's so many devices you can use. There's even one with constant contacts called iCapture. They have some other things out there. You can actually capture the lead, and actually when they walk away from your booth, you could send them a text message, or you do a text program, or you could actually do an email to them straight to their phone saying, thank you for coming by our booth. We'll be following up with you in the next business day or so to bring your gift by to chat with you a few minutes and find out what your needs are and see if we can assist you in your business. So those are just some different things I wanted to get on here and give you some things on Facebook Live today. And I want to thank Be Live TV for allowing me to do this through the broadcasting through them today. I wanted to see if there's any questions. Anybody had any questions? But I wanted to say, if you would like to do a 30-minute free strategy session with me, just leave it in the comments section below that you would like to have a 30-minute free strategy session. Just say free strategy. And I will private message you, and we'll do a free 30-minute strategy session. I do Zoom, and we can talk and see if there's something I can help you with in your trade show planning, objectives, find out what your needs are, see where your challenges are in your trade shows. And we magically turn trade shows into dollars. That's what my ultimate goal is, to help companies, small solo entrepreneurs, women business owners, to small to medium-sized businesses. So Evelyn Flynn, the Trade Show Whiz Coach, how to be a business exhibitionist.